is Warriors Anonymous.
Man, what a game that was. Gutsy effort from our Warriors, scoring 2 tries in the last 10 minutes, finishing over the top of a very good Melbourne Storm side. Final score, Warriors 14-42. We got G and Isaac here to break it all down for you, because it was quite an experience. This game just gone. I would say that I was pushed to places I had not been in quite a while. And I walked out with about 8 minutes to go in the first half, and I was like, turn this shit off. Grabbed myself a few Tim Tams, smashed them back, and then just went and did housework for the rest of the time. I've since caught up on a lot of stuff, on a lot of footage and that, now that the emotions have, just sort of subsided. But bro, you were able to sit through the entire masterpiece that was the Melbourne massacre.
That was pretty stupid. I'm just embracing the darkness that was that loss right now. Just put my hoodie on in shame. Yeah, I saw all of maybe 95% of the game. A waste. Some learnings to take out of it, and a lot of news, especially injury-wise as well, to take out from that game.
Yeah, you did right. There is it's an interesting game. It was a funny one because I heard the commentator towards the end go, well, there's actually quite a bit the Warriors can take out of this game, weirdly enough, for a game that a lot of us had given up on, even watching. And we're seasoned Warriors campaigners. But bro, let's go for a quick hard or nah to get things underway. Are we which team are we? Are we the first half team or are we the second half team?
We're more the second half team. Definitely more the second half team. That Melbourne team in the first half was Melbourne at its peak, I like to think. I mean, they're the clear front runners for the competition at the moment right now. And we have to remember as well, the week before, absolutely Manly is us. So it's not like we're in rarefied air. There's other teams along with us there too. But yeah, Melbourne are just Melbourne. We just got to play better. We've just got to play better to ever beat them, whether that's at home or away. But they were just on fire.
That's right. Extends the curse to 17 games. And to be fair, last week we ran through a pretty robust blueprint of how to beat them, and the team went out and did absolutely none of that, which is probably not surprising. But bro, like, what was your take on what the hell happened over in Melbourne?
Oh, injury up front. I mean, the injury to Fisher Harris didn't happen too long into the piece. That didn't help. And I think that pretty much just threw a spanner in the works for the Warriors, and they just lost their composure pretty early, which is the thing that you can't do against Melbourne. You've got to keep your composure. You know what they're going to throw everything at you. I think people sort of get into the mindset that Melbourne are like a grinded out team. In my opinion, they're not. They are just a very smart team, and they adapt their approach to whoever they play on the fly, and they just attack them that way. And I think they saw that the Warriors are pretty rigid in their attack, and they just shut it down. And when we couldn't fire a shot, it just made it easy for them to respond and attack. With arguably Warrior ball themselves, they just kept the ball alive, and we weren't prepared for it at all. So yeah, I feel like that's kind of where that first half was really lost. And the defense, the defense, we weren't hitting and sticking. We were giving them opportunities to turn the ball, to get the ball loose with offloads, and that just really hurt us. And we just didn't have people arguably backing up and covering ground when an offload was being made.
Do you think we maybe went out and took on the Storm, from a defensive aspect, we went out and tried to defend them as if they were any other team, rather than Melbourne, the apex predator of the NRL? What was your take on the defensive issues? What was the key issue? And is it easy to fix next week?
I think against any other team, the way that the Warriors defended, let's just say arguably in the first half, where they were putting a bit of pressure, putting men in the tackle, probably would have worked against any other team. But yeah, again, Melbourne is so professional. They've seen it all before. They know if they're committing a lot of people to the tackle and there's opportunities in other parts of the field, and they just exploited it. They just know exactly what to look for. So you're either damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. If you're not committing people to the tackle, you get a quick play of the ball, Harry Grant running out. If you do commit lots of people to the tackle, you've got space somewhere else that Jerome Hughes or Cameron Munster can manipulate. So it really comes down to, on defense, pick your poison. But you have to sort of get them on the ground. You have to get them on their back like they were doing to us. They're masters of that. And that's why I hate them so much. It's just because they're so good at getting our players on their back and getting that slow play of the ball.
It kind of sounds to me like you're saying that the best way to defend Melbourne is to just keep the ball and not give them a chance.
That's probably one of the best ways, right? I think in defense, when I say hit and stick, it's the, grab and wrap, basically. And that's pretty tough to do. It's tough to do against any team like Melbourne, but it's a hard thing to do to say commit the minimum number of players, but hit and stick, and get them to ground and wrestle. But with Melbourne, they seem to be able to do that. They seem to be able to have a two-man tackle and just sort of manipulate our players where they've got an arm stuck, or you've got Harry Grant just sticking his arm in between somewhere and slowing the ball, or walking over the top and just making it look fairly inconspicuous. The dark arts, as Dan would say, as Boyle would say. And we don't really have that skill. I'm not saying that we should emulate that, but there's certain things that we can do to sort of buy us a bit of time on defense to reset without committing too many players up front. But if you are going to go for a big 3 or 4-man tackle, you've got to make it.
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned Harry Grant there a couple of times.
Oh, fuck, I hate that dude, hey. I really hate him. If you just sit and watch throughout any Melbourne game, let alone against the Warriors, just the amount of stuff that he gets away with, and he never gets pulled up. He might get pulled up once or twice. Might be in the 70th minute after he's done it all game. It's just... yeah, it's absolutely remarkable. It pisses me off.
Yeah. And to be fair, I felt like, just looking back at the replay today, I felt as though the Storm got given a couple of tries that really shouldn't have been. This is not please don't take this as a, Warriors fan cries over the refereeing because they lost. It's just more I apply the way of thinking that if we had scored a try like that, then I don't think it would have been awarded for us. So there was the kick one from Xavier Coates flying through the air. He was offside. And there was also the one that Harry Grant, his first try, when old Xavier Coates threw the ball back inside, and it was a good 4 meters forward. And I knew it was as well. It was well disguised, don't get me wrong, at the time, but I could tell purely by Harry Grant's reaction. You can see it on the slow-mo replay. He kind of caught the ball, and he just glanced across to the referee, just a little side glance, and then kind of looked back like, I don't think he's going to call that. And then he went on and scored, and I was like, he knows he got away with one there. So,
Yep.
Anyways, I'm not gonna split hairs on that. We lost by a fair amount, and frankly, I think the biggest miracle of all was the fact we didn't lose by more than 50, and have our premiership chances completely destroyed. So also, I got to say, I did think back to last week when we were talking about, the previewing the Melbourne game, and I was like looking forward to seeing, our team play on a dry track. And then within about half a second, I was like, actually, I may regret that statement. And that came to be blisteringly true. Boy. Anyways, but there was a bit to like about what we did. Especially how we hung in there in the second half. I know the Storm lost Jerome Hughes. It's a big out, and probably maybe just cruising altitude, shall we say. But yeah, bro, what sort of, or who impressed you across the game in either half?
The bench. For us, I think it was easily the whole bench. I mean, Jackson Ford, God bless him, he had a couple of mistakes and it kind of tarnished his effort.
It was a good day to get them, though. Good day to have those. I was like,
get them out, shake off the cobwebs, get it out of your system there, Jackson. If you're going to do it, you might as well do it in a game like that. But I thought the whole bench actually played really well. Bunty Afoa, I don't know, he's found a new lease of life. He's got some damaging runs to him now. It's like he's been watching Lecker and Dimitrik and thinking, I want a piece of that. So I just thought, the bench across the board, they all showed a lot of effort. I think Mitch Barnett may have even alluded to that in the after-match conference where he said the younger boys were showing the older boys how to play on defense, muscle up. There's some truth to that. Yeah, I thought the bench played really well. I'm struggling to find people off the top of my head apart from the bench that might have played well. I thought Pompey had a solid game. But yeah, the rest of the team left a little to be desired.
Yeah, one thing I've got to say about Pompey, I've got a little bit of a criticism on him. And it's probably not anything that anyone would really predict. I just got to say that when he gets into space near the try line, I just want to see him try and get a bit lower. Because a couple of times this year I've seen him sort of, get towards the line and he's basically upright. And I know on the weekend he had to kind of step past a couple of guys and that to get there. But I was just like, man, once you get close to the line, man, you're a tall fella. Try and get lower. Because I think he can get some more tries out of that. But anyways, again, splitting hairs. Also, Aaron Clark on his 100th game.
Sorry, Aaron Clark. Yeah, he had a wow of a game actually. Yeah,
man.
Thank you for bringing that guy up.
How good a signing has he been, man? Holy heck.
He's just getting better and better every week as well. I think he's just getting more comfortable with his role within the team. Maybe it's not having a guy like Dylan Walker, on his back. He knows that's his role to keep. Yeah, and he's finding his groove.
Yeah, I tell you what, he actually did some impressive refereeing as well. Chatting to the ref, going, well, if he got hit in the head and he has to go off, then why do we get a penalty?
Yeah, he's not shy of 2 words, and he had a point.
Right. Yeah. He did, yeah, and you can see Clyde going, lucky we didn't get penalised for that, he's not even the captain, but all good. Experienced guys in the team probably copped a little bit of criticism. Obviously, Barnett mentioned words to that effect. Are you looking at any of those experienced lads to maybe get dropped down to the bench just to, give them a bit of a kick up the arse?
I don't know if we can afford to do that at the moment with the troops down. If Fisher Harris is fit, he's starting. If Barnett is fit, he's starting. What I would like to see is Niokore go to the bench and take up a prop role and arguably give his second row role to a guy like Halasima or something like that, or Valmung. I think they're primarily props, but let's face it, they could play second row if they wanted to. They've got the athletic ability and the speed to do so. Murata, for me, especially on the first try, he looks a little bit lost on defense in the second row. That's what really concerns me. On attack, he's running good lines. He has a tough head up. But on defense, he just gets stuck in the mud so often if people throw some shape at him. And it's been long enough of playing that position, you'd think he would have figured it out. But for an edge defender, I think he's got a pretty poor awareness and he doesn't have that athletic ability to make up for when he gets found out.
You saw that 100% on that first try, didn't you? He just got he went on the lead runner, and then once he had gone on, you could see him go, uh-oh. And he got played like an accordion. Okay, all right. Trying to get back out, and they were gone from that point. But yeah,
it happens too much for my liking. For an experienced player like that, it happens far too often. So I feel like there's going to be a change. And if you put him into the front row rotation, you still get that impact. He has to make less decisions like that. He's probably going to get a little bit more upside to him.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Leka Halasima got his second try in the NRL grade, which was wonderful. Hey, I got to say, I've been waiting for this aspect of his game to get highlighted because he is actually a really good weapon going up and catching the high balls. He's done it in every grade I've seen him play, and I'm like, this guy, man, if we can put kicks into a reasonable spot, he'll be a good chance of getting them. He's not a tall fella, but man, he must just dominate the space with his strength. Just gets in there and great hands to pull off the try. But let's break down the part of that try that Blocker Roach decided to get stuck into, and that is the celebration. Is it reasonable for a young fella to go out there and celebrate A, his second try in the NRL, B, against the Storm? This is probably the case for.
Mm-hmm.
The case against is that we were down 36 at that point.
I love the enthusiasm, but I don't know how much Webster talked to him last time he did that. When they got into his ear, and I think Blocker Roach, as much as I dislike him, had a point. Maybe put it away. It's like was it Happy Gilmore when they're going like, oh wow, Happy Gilmore, you see, hit that 400-yard drive, and then Shooter McGavin goes, hey, that's really good. Where'd he come? Dead last. Oh yeah, good for him.
Good though.
Yeah, he's good though. It was like that. It was like, it means nothing, that try in the greater context of things. But I hate to say it, Blocker had a point, right?
Yeah, he did. I actually thought he played pretty well again as well, just with his just doing the dirty work, making tackles, good, wrong runs without sort of a heck of a lot of opportunity or being set up for much. So it'll be exciting to see how his role will evolve, over the season, because I know that a lot of people, whenever they watch him, they just think, holy crap, we need to get this guy more minutes. And I understand the need to balance it up, because it is, it's a long season, and you don't want to rush these guys in too much. He's still, 19?
19.
So I guess from that aspect, it's like, okay, we'll just sort of take our time and unleash him at the relevant points. But bro, we got a few issues, injury wise, especially. Next week we're going to be down the fish is gone. The fish is expected to be gone for the next game at least, if not longer. Chance will be out for the next game as well. What's our thinking? 10 jumped into the fullback spot in the Storm game. Are you thinking he's going to stay there for the game against the Broncos?
Yeah, I'd say he'd stay there. Next cab off the rank. And, after his efforts last year, he deserved the opportunity in the fullback jersey as well, where the CNK not there. I think we just call his game the weekend a bit of a blip on the radar as well. Otherwise, he's been playing really well. And he deserves a shot in the number 1 jersey. And then I think Gutsy would slip onto the other way.
Also, in the news today, which is Monday, the time of the recording of this podcast, Rocco Berry has been suspended for 1 to 2 games. So basically, there you go. There it is. I was wondering if you knew this.
Nope.
So it's a grade 2 careless high tackle. So it is a 1-match suspension if you plead guilty. If you want to go and fight the charge, then it'll be and get found guilty, you'll sit out 2 games. So I'm guessing the Warriors will probably just go, fuck it,
bite the bullet.
Yeah. So now that also opens up a bit more, a little bit of a hole in the back line, in the back 5. So I was wondering if they may even adjust things and look at bringing maybe Temade Martin into fullback and keeping Tane on a wing. Alternatively, the next cab up would be likely, I'm guessing, Wile Graham Dolpher.
That was the name I was going to mention as well.
Yeah. I mean, also, we've got a guy who was out last week. He's maybe been brought in for such occasions, and that is your old mate, Morgan Harper.
Yeah, but it's a solid pick to put into that jersey. I'd probably go either, Wile Graham Dolpher or Lana Ritchie. Yeah. So
yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I honestly, I felt sorry for Rocco because I went back and checked the tape, especially when I saw he'd been suspended, and I watched it back again, watched the tackle where he gets up and he lowered his height and Howarth just kind of slipped into his shoulder. And it was like, I don't know exactly what you wanted him to do in this occasion. And likewise, I might post up a video on this as well, checking out a bit of the Broncos Roosters game. The Tony Staggs has picked up a $1,000 fine for his contact to the head where he went kind of in with a bloody forearm on one of the Roosters players. And I just thought, well, how does that equate? Like, Rocco kind of goes up, stands there, and the guy falls into his shoulder, whereas Staggs gets in and shows real intent with what he was doing, and he's free to play.
Let's see if the rest of the media would discuss anything like that.
I'm sure it'll be all over NRL 360 for the next couple of days.
Yeah, the coverage would be immense. Yeah,
undoubtedly.
Dedicate a whole hour to that.
I mean, also another week has gone by where another potential big signing has been mooted. I like that word, mooted. And that being Joseph Manu, who has been, looking for compassionate ground release, the irony, to come back closer to home, which people are wondering if it's going to, lead to him playing Super Rugby for a New Zealand team or potentially for the Warriors. But what would your thoughts be on him lining up for the Wires, and where would you have him?
Jeez, this Warriors wish list is getting pretty big, isn't it? Fucking every player is coming to the Warriors. And another fullback. Yay, another fullback. I'd put him at centre. Sorry, Rocco or Ali. You'd want him on the field. But is it really going to happen? Is it? Yeah. But it'd be nice. It'd be nice. But
it's funny, they've been talking about, the big signing over the past few weeks. And we ended up signing someone last week. And it was a young fella called Jai Lanane. And a lot of people were like, who the hell is this guy? And I was one of those people. Funnily enough, I had commentated one of his games a couple of years back. And at that point, he didn't do anything for me to take note and think, wow, this guy. But the more I've actually looked into things, the more I've checked out his highlights and, read about him. I think he's actually got something. He's got some real talent. So he is coming off a couple of ACL injuries, which is what everyone's kind of, largely up in arms about. But from having checked out the tape, man, I'm like, whoa, okay. We may, from the Dylan Brown signing going to the Knights, we might have just by chance stumbled across the next bloody Cam Munster. That's how good I think this guy is. Oh. Yeah, big call, but
massive call.
But shit, man, he looks very good. So we'll see how he sort of rehabs and gets welcomed into the the mix. Be interesting to see how that alters things on the depth chart towards the top end of the number 6 position. But anyways, in terms of our lineup to take on the Broncos, give us your run through what you're thinking, factoring in the injuries and now suspension to Rocco.
Probably look to start Bunty in JFH's place. I mean, not as impactful with the ball in hand, but definitely offers a lot in defense. which I think we're going to need with the pack that we're playing against. So he'll be good to take a bit of the brunt in the first 20 minutes or so. But then that begs the question of who takes his bench spot as well. Probably someone like, I would like to see someone that could fill the back line halves. So perhaps Tamari Martin takes a spot on the bench for him. I know that leaves us a little bit light, but we've still got a lot of strike, a lot of beef in the forwards anyway with Halasima, Dimitrik, Jackson Ford on the bench still. But perhaps as well, maybe throwing a cat amongst the pigeons, Niokore slips out of the starting lineup. As I've said before, goes to the bench, either one of Dimitrik or Leka to start. It's probably be the one might mix up there. And then, for that centre spot, now that Rocco Berry's gone, Moala Graham Dolfa or Lionel Richie, Morgan Harper to slip into the centre spot and just, keep a little bit of continuity with the back line.
Yeah, cool, man. Cool. I like the sound of that. Also, just been keeping an eye on some of the players in New South Wales Cup grade as well. Our friend Freddie Lussick has actually been playing quite a bit of back row.
Quaid.
I am Quaid.
Total Recall is actually back on Netflix as well. I watched it the other day. It still holds up. You're not me, I'm you. Who are you?
Who the hell am I? So good. I forgot what the point was. Oh yeah, so Freddie's been playing a lot of back row recently, and I'm like, okay, that's interesting to note just how his role has evolved, and he could be a guy that they may look to maybe work in there. But also, just a real smoky. I'm just going to throw it out there partly because I saw a little something on Instagram today, which made me just pique my interest. Just a little photo which was shared of a certain player in a Warriors strip. The first grade, the NRL grade strip, and that is Tanner Stowers-Smith. Yeah, so I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like, he didn't say much in his photo, just had the photo of him and that, and he was like, little charged up little emoji, and I was like, are you charged up because you've just been given a call up, or what's the go here? Because I mean, in terms of thinking a like for like replacement of Fisher Harris, he's probably the guy most similar in terms of body type and style of play. But I don't know, just gonna throw it out there, a bit of a smoky. Also, I'm trying to justify my earlier prediction from the start of the season where I said he was going to get his NRL debut. So there's a lot of factors at play there. So best of luck, Tanner, if you get named in the squad, or we'll see what happens. You've been playing well too in Cup. Bro, the Broncos, they're going to be smarting, to be fair, after a loss at home to the Chooks, who they had, cooked a few weeks ago. They got done over, so they're going to be pissed off. Madge is probably making them do hill sprints for the rest of the week. Yeah, how do we battle them? How do we take them down?
Watch a lot of that Roosters game and just see how they did it. The Roosters team played really well. They took a lot of the bite out of their forward pack, really. They won with a really young halves pairing as well. The Roosters, I think, it's just take the sting out of their pack and get the Broncos a little bit, rustle their feathers a little bit as well. They are a bit of a hot and cold team. I know they've got superstars across the park and just talent to burn, but they are quite hot and cold. So I think it's up to the Warriors to kind of, I don't want to say niggle them out of the game, but just get up in their face. Don't give guys like Reynolds all the time in the world to pick his poison with his kicking game, and put a bit of heat on a guy, especially like Reece Walsh. If we can shake him up big time and let him implode, that'll go a long way to us to help us win the game. But yeah, they've got to nullify that forward pack first and foremost, specifically that front row combination of Carrigan and Haas, which is not easy for even the best of teams to do in this league.
Yeah, you're right. And then they bring on a guy like Xavier Willison as well to back it up, and it's like
that's a huge matchup.
That's a pretty good rotation right there. And you're right. Like the Broncos, they're a volatile team. I mean, our team's a volatile team as well, but I feel like the Broncos even more so. If they were a stock, and you'd invested money, you'd be living on edge the entire time.
The Bitcoin Broncos.
That's not bad. Bitcoin Broncos.
Volatile. The Bitcoin Broncos. Trump coin.
Yeah.
Broncos
right.
coin. We're just going to release that.
Mate, we're going to hopefully put on some fucking tariffs on them on home ground.
Yeah. Can we tariff them 12 points or some shit like that? It's
I
going to
mean-
be beautiful.
I mean, hey, the referees in the NRL tariff us bloody 12 points. I'm going to say it per game. I've called it tri-tax before, but maybe it's a tariff nowadays.
It's tariff.
Anyways, bro, anything else you want to cover before we jump out of here, man?
Just a crazy weekend of results. Really. Just some results going all over the place. My multis were just getting destroyed. Just didn't even have a chance. That game last night, case in point, Newcastle Tigers. What the hell, Newcastle? They just when they give you a sniff thinking they might be the goods, they go and play like that. I don't know if you saw any of that game, but that first throughout the course of the game, how many times did they knock the ball on, drop the ball? It was an absolute dead set shocker.
Yeah, I was kind of watching a bit of that thinking, hopefully they do that against us on Anzac Day, because damn, we need an Anzac Day win. Holy shit. There's another curse we need to break.
Yeah,
That's right. Oh, yeah, all right. Anyways, we will, I guess we'll go again. We'll dust ourselves off. Saturday, I think it is, back at Go Media Stadium to take on the Brisbane Bitcoin Broncos. It's a good call, man.
It's got a good ring to it, eh?
It really does, yeah.
Bitcoin Broncos.
Thanks very much for watching us. Like and subscribe to the channel if you can. That'll be a huge boost to the nobodies. And also, get your Warriors Anonymous streetwear as well at warriorsanonymous.co.nz or wherever you are around the world. Isaac's just doing some modeling there for us. So I'm sure. I mean, if you were on the fence about buying before, then you're going to be like just flocking there now, I would imagine. So.
It's weird because I'm seeing the reflection of me in the camera and it doesn't say why, it says aw. This is the reverse. That's not what it's meant to say. Warriors Anonymous. Warriors Anonymous. Not Anonymous Warriors.
Yeah, not like
Get amongst it.
you guys got pumped. But anyways, now thanks for watching, everyone. We'll catch you next week right here. Warriors Anonymous. Wait. Up the wires. Go the Warriors.
La cucaracha, ya no puede caminar.